Hey Queen, welcome to another episode of the Wealthy Women podcast. My name is Rebecca Barr, aka the Femalepreneur Coach, and I am so excited to record this episode and share it with you because it's a common problem that I see a lot with women in business, and it's the difference between whether you get results and whether you make money and whether you don't. And that is, how do you show up as a big deal online, and what is the importance of that, even if you don't feel ready or you're not ready to receive that level of audaciousness yet? Because here's the thing. At our very core, we are still very much tribal beings. We are still being driven by very primitive operating strategies in our brain. We are still looking for our tribal leaders and elders. We are always looking for the designated adult in any room. And it blows my mind that 99% of the time, thanks to all the tiny humans that I have, that is me. But we are unconsciously still looking for that authoritative figure in our life to give us safety, to give us assurances, to give us confidence in our decisions. Now, the reality is when you are an online service provider, coach, mentor, anybody that's selling something to somebody else, you are that tribal leader that they are essentially looking for. And people buy from you, not always because, not necessarily because you've got an aesthetic grid or because, you've got all of these incredible accolades. They are buying you and your conviction, your confidence in the results that you can get them. That is ultimately what people are investing in when they want to work with you. They want to know that if I give you my money, I am safe to give it to you, because not only can you get me results, you believe that I can get those results also. So here's what I wanted to talk about today, though. How do you show up like a big deal online when you don't feel like that yet, or you're not ready to receive that, as I mentioned at the beginning? So I wanted to start, and this is going to be a very short episode. It's going to be very quick, practical exercises, but it's something that I take my clients through. So the first is kind of like an episode in two halves. So the first thing I want to obviously mention as a money mentor is that there is no end of clients that are out there. There is no end of abundance that is available to you. And it's about speaking to the right clients that are meant to be served by you. And that comes from really knowing who the hell you are, and really owning the value that you bring to the table as somebody who can provide an experience, create a transformation, or get your clients results. So you have to be really clear. In order to attract the ideal client for you, you have to know who the fuck you are, essentially, as a person. So who are you? What are your values? What do you stand for? Why should they be wanting to work with you? And a lot of the time when I do this work initially, because this is maybe the first time that you've ever been asked that question, it can be really difficult to actually answer it. But like I say, when you have that strong sense of self, that strong sense of identity, that strong self-belief that I don't need to be for everybody, I just need to be for my people. And for my people, it will be a hell yes to work with me. And these are all the reasons that they are lucky to work with me. That is when you truly become magnetic to your ideal client, and when you create that unrealistic success. And I'd like to think, for me as a mentor, I've always been that person, because for me, coming into the online space, I didn't need to play the game as such. I didn't need to be part of cliques. I didn't need to do things in a way that everybody else did online. I never felt the pressure to have this carefully curated Instagram feed and all the things, because I had the strong sense of self. I've built other businesses. This is a bonus. I'm giving back. I know that I've got value to bring to the table. I know the passion that I bring to the table for my clients. I know the simplified strategies and the ways that I've done it that are, basic bitch guide to business. So if I can simplify it and I can do it with kids, and a lot of kids and multiple business interests and very little time and resources dedicated to this business, then absolutely, girl, you are flying. You can absolutely do it as well. And you can probably 10x and supersede everything that I've created, because my time is so split, and divided by so many different things, which is how I love it as a manifesting generator. I don't want to choose, and all the things. So I came in with that conviction and that confidence that I've demonstrated it. I've done it. So even if a mentor is saying there is only one way that you can do it over here, I'm certainly open and receptive to feedback and trying new things. And testing out and, exploring and having all of the information so that I can give that to my clients and create those bespoke strategies. But I absolutely know that if they are overwhelmed by all of those things and they are equally in a similar situation to me and don't have all the time and resources and energy to dedicate to this, but have a real passion in their heart, that there is always an easier way to create success. So because of that, it meant that I could really speak confidently and articulately and passionately about these things because I've lived it. So what is that for you right now? When you're thinking about, maybe you're a health coach or a relationship coach or a social media manager or, a done for you agency owner, what are the things that you can really speak to? Not only because either you've seen the evidence from your own clients or you have actually lived that experience yourself and you've been on the other side of it. What are the things that you can really speak to passionately and that will give your clients the confidence to invest in you? Because those are the things that are really going to enable you to set yourselves apart from online. And sometimes we need that evidence, right, of all of the things that we've done. So I'd love to invite you, as a journaling exercise now, is write down, who are you? What do you stand for? What are all of the incredible results and experiences? Maybe you're at the beginning of your journey, you don't have loads of results and testimonials and accolades, but you have learned and life experience that you can draw on. Maybe you've got some clients under your belt and you can speak to their results. What is that? And get it down on paper, because it's so powerful. I'm all about, trust, faith, creating in collaboration with the universe, but equally I have a very highly logical brain. I need to see the evidence. So even if you don't have that from yourself, who can you see online that is equally doing things how you want to do it? Who is the person that you kind of aspire to be when you think about your entrepreneurial journey? Can they provide you any of the evidence that what you want to create is possible for you too, so that you can start to show up with more confidence and conviction in the things that you talk about? This will shape the content that you create. It will also, really start to cultivate this discernment in you as a business owner, that you don't need to be in every room on every podcast and collaborating with anybody that asks. Actually, it's all about values alignment, because not only are your clients looking at you to get them results, they also want to understand who you are as a person and how you are operating and navigating this world, and how you're embodying the work that you do. So for me, as I've said, you will not see me endorsing anything that I don't believe in, sharing strategies that I haven't either personally or, firsthand experience of working through them with my clients. Like, I'm just not about, my integrity is everything as a mentor. And I think that that's all you have in this world as a woman, is your values and your reputation. And I remember it's something that stuck with me, and it's obviously wasn't applied to business, but I remember my mum saying to me at a very young age, never be the girl that people talk about when you leave the room. And, there's an argument that Jeff Bezos says you actually need to be, your brand is what people talk about when you leave the room. But I always took that to heart. And I've always operated in a way that I need to be able to sleep at night. I need to, the only person that can judge me is God. And as long as, I know that I've acted with the highest integrity, with the best of intentions, that I've put good energy into what I've created, then I'm good. So for me, that has meant turning away from certain opportunities and certain collaborations and certain alignments, because those people are not my people. And I don't want to be associated with them, even if I believe that there is, or, ego would tell me that there is some kind of, outcome to be leveraged from that person. There'll always be more opportunities. And that is me being the embodiment of the work that I share with my clients as a money mentor, that there will always be more clients, there will always be more opportunities. And that equally comes from, being 10 years in business and knowing that Alex Hormozy said recently that he'd learned that these once in a lifetime opportunities in business come around like twice a year. And that's the reality. There will always be more inspiration, more downloads, more opportunities, more clients, more money, more shots at your success. So don't let ego or fear kind of drive your actions. So if that were true, You could talk about anything that you wanted to talk about. You could really own the value that you bring to the table. You could work with anybody. You could sell at the price points that you wanted to. What would you speak and talk about? What rooms would you be in? How would you be showing up? What kind of, confidence, spin, viewpoints, values would you be sharing online? And then be that person now. Because like I say, it's better to be fully owning who you are to kind of attract in your ideal clients. And sometimes again that comes from just demonstrating the evidence. So what are the things that you have, and also not allowing yourself to not be for everybody, and really focus on the people who are your people, your hell yes clients, the people that will not care if you have a highly curated grid or an aesthetic grid, the people that just want your results, your conviction, your passion, your eyes, your heart on them, and supporting them. Who are those people? And that comes from knowing who you are first, as a woman, as a leader, as a business owner, as a healer, as a light worker. So I'd love for you to do that kind of exercise first of all. Remind yourself what a badass you are, all of the things that you've achieved, all of the things that you've been through, the results that you've got for your clients, so that you can really speak with confidence about the results that you can create for those people. So then when you're showing up with that big D energy online, I always say on my socials, like, don't work with me unless you want to completely transform your life. And I stand by that, because I have endless client testimonials that tell me that I have transformed people's lives, but also I know the power of the work that I do with my clients. And equally, because I've experienced it too, I had to go first. I had to be the one that ended toxic family cycles, that got myself fiercely visible out online, that made six figures with ease and kids and all of the things hanging off me. I had to go first so I can have conviction, and then equally then support my clients to do that work too, and have this feedback that says that I have changed people's lives. So I've got the evidence. And if I ever feel like things are wavering, they're not flowing, I feel in doubt, because, I'm still a spiritual being having a human experience. Ego still takes over. Every new level of success, there's always a new devil that needs to be overcome. And, but that's what I always come back to. It's like, right, okay, who am I? What do I stand for? Who do I want to work with? Why am I the perfect person to provide that value to that person? Why would they be mad not to work with me? And that can equally be looking wider and outside of yourself as a change maker. As I said, the value and the heart and the passion that you bring to your clients. There will be other people that could take their money. Absolutely. But why would they be mad to work with that person versus you? And this isn't about bashing anybody else or any of the, you don't have to share any of this information or tear others down to be successful, but it's just about reminding yourself that we are all, incredibly unique. And the more that you can own the light, the dark, the shadow, the shade, like all of the parts of you that are messy, that are unstructured, that are, unprofessional but passionate, all of those parts of you that would then make you the perfect person for your ideal client. And for me, it's the woman who is kind of wanting the simplified business strategies. Yes, there's no end of funnels and automations and complications that you can add to your business. I am fully in my masculine and aware of those strategies. And I've helped clients to do those because that was their next edge. That was their next competitive little tweak that could then just add a few more whatever to their business. But for most of us women, we don't want that. We want simplified so that we can be consistent. We want easy, because if it's too hard, we're not going to do the damn thing. Now, that's very much where I lean when it comes to business. I like the simple business strategies for me personally, because I have so much else going on and I don't want my business to be a full-time job. I've got little people, I've got multiple projects, I'm a manifesting generator and all the things. So I found those things that are going to get me the most bang for my buck in my business. Those are the things that my ideal client are also going to want to know about too, because they're in the same position as me. They're multi-passionate, they're time poor, but equally they don't get validation from being busy. They just want to get to the good bit, So by me fully owning me, the path that I've taken, the value that I bring to the table, to then show up online with that confidence and conviction that if you work with me, I'm going to change your whole life, and not just the business. Because this is the thing for me as a feminine energy leader, it's about wholeness. There is no point me helping you to make money in your business, but then you're miserable at home, or at the sacrifice of your health or your relationships. Like, I am about wholeness. As a female leader, I want, and I don't believe that you need to sacrifice or compromise parts of yourself in order to be successful. I believe that's BS that we've just heard and being conditioned about. And as a woman, you get to do life and business your own way, on your own terms, exactly as you want it, and you get to decide. And there is so much power in that intention and decision of it gets to be easy. It gets to, it gets to be better and better and better. I don't have to sacrifice and compromise. That's not my reality. And when you decide those things, there is so much power in that. Let me tell you, you are so much more powerful as a woman than you realize. So all of that is very much incorporated into my content, into the strategies and the embodiment, and therefore the delivery of my work. But it comes back to calling in the right people at the beginning, very much setting out my stall and saying, this is who I am. This is how I work. If you are a type A personality that loves to have checklists, spreadsheets, and everything planned to the nth degree, for me, there's no excitement in that. And I've got friends that are business mentors that are very much like that. Like, they're immaculate, their house is immaculate, their grid is perfectly aesthetic. They are very structured and methodical in their approach. They take people through the same process, and good for them, because that is their way. And, I know the compound effect of consistency and all the things. They are getting their own way to results, but that's not my people. My people are messy. They're inspired. They're ambitious. They're passionate. They are quick movers. They are action takers. They don't want to be bogged down and boxed in and really kind of like dampening their spirit and their opportunity and their ability to move in their business. They're entrepreneurs that see opportunities. They want to have creative freedom. They're here to create something unique. They want to own all parts of themselves. Maybe they've got some healing work to do. So by me being that embodiment and being that and having that conviction in that transformation that I can create for my clients, I'm going to attract those people, not the people that want the spreadsheet and the XYZ ABC rinse and repeat cookie cutter process. They're not my people. And there's part of me that aspires to be that person. I'm like everybody else. I still watch the TikToks of the cleaning TikToks and the mums with the, incredibly well thought out meal preps and lunch boxes and aesthetically pleasing stationery and all the things. And I'm somewhat there because I'm a Gemini and I can do both, but I'm definitely not, committing my whole life to being that person. There is too much going on in my life, and I want to be able to serve all aspects of myself. So it comes from, obviously, like I say, having, just to recap. So in order to show up like you're a big deal online, it comes from knowing who the fuck you are. It comes from owning all parts of yourself and really being in integrity with that so that you can attract in the right clients. It comes from reminding yourself what a big deal you are and really providing that evidence so that you can fully get behind, yes, the right person would be really lucky to work with me because of these reasons. And if you can't articulate that and you've never given yourself the gift of time to go through that exercise, then you really need to, because you are incredible. You only need to be 2 steps ahead of yourself to add value to somebody else. So let's take that pressure off straight away that you need to be finished, perfect, more established, bigger list, making more money in your business in order to really show up with confidence. You don't need to be anybody else. You don't need to try and, mold yourself in success clues and try and run your business in a way that somebody else is so that you can get the same results, because that never works. It just comes from the things that I've mentioned. So what I want to finish this episode on is, once you've got that list and you are like, do you know what? Yeah, you're right. Actually, I've done a few things. I'm, even if it's just a case of I've committed hours of blood, sweat and tears in mastering my craft and doing the work and doing the healing, or the other end where you've spent hours equally mastering your techniques and your craft and your modalities and studies and all the things that you've done to get you where you are. And, for me, I have definitely gone above and beyond with the modalities that I share with my clients. I write all of that down. Like, why? And it's not just the successes. That's the thing. It's the failures. It's the losses. It's the spectacular poor shows and bad judgment that I've shown in business. That makes me just as valuable as a business mentor and as a money mentor as somebody who's just like perfect, never had any plot twists, never had any weakness or moments or errors in judgment or bad decisions, because that actually is more reflective to me and from what I see of the world of most people's entrepreneurial judgment. So again, by me owning my losses, my fails, my bad judgments and all the things, that allows other people permission to do the same. And it also gives them hope and inspiration that those things don't define you and you get to choose again. And there's, it's all about the growth and the journey. So that's the change that I want to be in the world. I want to show more women that it doesn't matter if you have not got things right in the past, if you have made bad decisions and all the things, you still get to choose again. You get to reinvent yourself 100 billion times before you die. Like there's no like one right way. There's none of these things. So that for me goes on my list as much as, the wins and the being interviewed in Florida on Fox News and best-selling author, because I believe those other things that equally make me a really great mentor. The learned and lived experience, the bad times as well as the good, that adds depth, that adds character, that adds resilience and tenaciousness, that somebody that's just had a rags to riches, everything was great, I just showed up on socials, it was all amazing. What are you learning, as things have worked up until this point, but what if they don't, what if you get a plot twist or a curveball or a COVID or something else that takes you off track? You've not got that resilience, that creativity, that bounce back ability, that pivotableness. These aren't even words that I'm making up right now. You need to have that as an entrepreneur in order to continue to bounce back and be better than ever and take the lessons and remove your ego and all of the things and continually evolve. So if you don't have necessarily all the highlight reels and all the wins, think about all the bad times also and what you've learned from that. That is powerful information. And once you have that list, then I'd love to just super quick take you through a little round of EFT tapping, which is emotional freedom technique, otherwise known as tapping. If you want a full video, so maybe if you're listening to the podcast, I would strongly encourage you to head over to my YouTube. I've actually got several EFT videos on there that are a full tutorial. That show you all of the incredible ways that this can be applied to your life, your business, your money mindset, limiting beliefs. Like there's so many anxiety. There are so many ways that you can apply that modality. But for me, say you're about to go on a sales call. So you're about to write your content for socials, or you're about to show up on a live or do a guest expert session or something else, that an imposter syndrome or self-doubt is creeping in. And it's telling you that who are you to talk about these things, to make these bold claims, to show up and be visible, and to really serve these clients in the way that they deserve to be served, then this is for you. Because what I love to do is EFT, as I mentioned. And really, once you've got that list of incredible, like why I'm such a badass and why people will be lucky to work with me and why I know I can get these results for them, once you've got that list, it's then about tapping that in through EFT into your body. Because at the moment, you'll probably get a very visceral response when you think about all of the things that I've mentioned: going live, making these claims, being more visible, being more audacious. And there'll be a part of you that like physically responds to that. What we want to do is disperse some of that trapped energy and that negative emotion that's currently stored in your body. And that will be from learned past experiences. Maybe you tried to, put yourself out there before and you were rejected. Maybe your needs weren't met as a child and you were told that you weren't worthy. There's so much that goes into why we don't want to show up online, why we don't want to be bold or audacious, why we don't want to brag or really own our gifts. It's societal, it's psychological, it's family cycles of behaviors and beliefs as well that have been passed down. So there's so much that goes into making you're not broken. It's just all of these complex like intricacies that have added these layers of self-doubt that you then can transform and transmute through the power of EFT. So I'm going to do a very quick setup and round. So you've got the list. Like if you're not sure, go watch the video. As I mentioned, I'll link it in the podcast episode. But we're going to start with the karate chop on your hands. And it's like, even though I am feeling like, who the hell am I to make these claims, to charge these prices, to show up online, I still totally love and accept myself. Then we're going to move to our crown chakra. So even though I'm imposter syndrome is really making me feel a little bit sick about being visible, about being seen, about stepping forward as a leader. I still totally love and accept myself. We'll go on the inner eye, the outer eye, the under eye, the upper lip, the bottom of your lip here, the bottom of your chin, sorry, here, and then on your collarbone. Just continue to recite those current beliefs that are coming up for you. What is the but that is keeping you from your ultimate potential in terms of your business success, but also how you can support your clients? Do one round of that, really acknowledging how you feel. And sometimes when we verbalize that out loud, that in itself is powerful. And it can tell us that there's things that are kind of running the show that aren't even true or aren't even necessarily your beliefs. There's somebody else's that you've imprinted and absorbed as your own. So once we've acknowledged that and we've done at least one round, see how you feel. If you know, and I like to do it on a scale of 1 to 10. So if you're now kind of, starting to realize and connect the dots for yourself, actually, this is not helpful. This is not true. This is like, that's not actually how I really feel. And I know that that isn't true. Then you can go ahead and move on to the next round, which is the positive affirmations. It's like, even though, speak about it in the past tense, even though I allowed imposter syndrome to make me doubt myself and the gifts that I bring to the table, I know I'm a badass. I know that clients will be lucky to work with me. I know that I have value to share with this world, and that for the right women or person, I'm going to change their goddamn life. And I totally love and accept myself. Then you move back to the crown chakra and you just literally go round the same meridian points. So these work in the similar way to acupuncture. We're dispersing trapped energy through our meridian points in our body. So the inner eye, the outer eye, the under eye, top of your lip, the bottom of your chin, and we're just tapping it several times with a little bit of force. We're not, the sheriffs aren't coming. We're not worrying about bailiffs, but we are just confidently tapping in and anchoring that new emotion, new belief, new feeling that we want to cultivate in ourselves. What is that for you? Do the full round, see how you feel. Do another round, see how you feel. And the goal isn't necessarily to get to zero where you're like, actually, I'm Beyonce. I'm completely narcissistic and egotistical. Everybody, like, peasants worship at my feet. It is just getting yourself back to a place where you can fully sit there and own the value that you bring to the table, own your space in the online space, not by comparing yourself, not by copying other people, but the whole messy, inspired version of you that's had some losses and had some wins and all the things, and show up as that confident big deal that you are, because you are. And like I say, for me, my business journey really took, everything turned up a notch when I started to own that part of me, and when I started to be audacious, because I know what it's like. You can, want to err on the side of being conservative, not blowing your own trumpet too much. Well, toot toot, ladies, because we need to, but also wanting to be humble, not wanting to be too audacious, not wanting to be too controversial, not wanting to divide your audience. Well, the reality is, as I mentioned, people buy your conviction and your confidence in your ability to get them results. So you need to start doing those things if you really want to take your business up a notch and bring more money in and have more impact. And for me, it was when I started to really actually realize there are some terrible coaches out there that are taking people's money regardless. And actually, I know what I bring to the table and all the things. People will be lucky to work with me because they're in a safe space, and I will find them and lead them to success, whatever that looks like for them. As soon as I started to own that and the results that my clients were getting, whereas before I was like, oh, I don't want to talk about people and blah, 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 and just so consumed by what everybody else thought, even though, spoiler alert, nobody's obsessed with you. Nobody cares. Nobody's like, nobody good anyway, is like going through your content and reading every post and every newsletter and all the things. But when you do that, that's when things really start to open up. Because as I said, people are buying that audacity, that conviction, that confidence. Obviously do it with integrity. Don't make claims that aren't actually true. But yeah, so I hope that you own what you do bring to the table and the value that you bring out into this world as a light worker. So I hope you've loved this episode. As I mentioned, I'll link the EFT tapping video if you want more of a visual aid to take you through that process. But I hope you've enjoyed it, because it's so important to me that you really do magnetize in those ideal clients and get the success that you've deserved. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please share it on socials. Please let me know your takeaways. Please like, subscribe on YouTube and also on the podcast, and have an incredible day, ladies.